about our partnership with Merced, my last thoughts would be same great team, probably expanded services because we have more resources, but really faculty and students will have more affordable options for course materials. Questions?
Thank you very much. Are there any questions or comments for her before she leaves the dais? Yes, Gutierrez? You might want to come back.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's not okay.
So, the staff will still remain, and I heard that, which is good. Is there what is it? Can you paint a picture? What's it going to look like? Is it going to look more like kind of what it looks like now, or is it going to be? Are you going to stock it with more? What kind of? Can you paint a picture?
I'm glad you asked it. When we come to the store, it's functional, and the staff has really done a good job of keeping it neat and clean and orderly. But there's a lot of opportunity to make the store more inviting, from food to a more robust selection of affordable clothing items, for example, like a $7.95 tee, rolled tees. It's easy when we're buying t-shirts for 1,200 stores, including like Notre Dame. We get good prices on things. But to make it more inviting, because the reality is we don't want them to think of the bookstore like a dentist, that they have to go twice a year to get their books because they're so sorry. I mean, not that anybody's ever said that before, but we want to make it more inviting. They're behind you going, I'm sure they're nodding. But that is the goal, is we put some capital in the agreement to ensure that we can update it, make it more inviting. Actually, when Sarah, Ken, and I were walking through the store today, they were like, oh my gosh, we could really let's beef up this whole section on supplies for nursing, and let's make it more reflective of the Merced College experience. It's a good store. We, together with kind of our expertise and the great team, we can make it great. Did I answer that?
That comes in two phases, though. Will you explain kind of they're going to take over May 10th. So what does that look like the first weekend? And then what happens over the summer?
And I've got May 10th, and we're still working on third party, making sure we can get third party. We have a lot of moving parts, but on the outset of a partnership, how it generally happens is we close down for inventory, we reset the store. So immediately it will look differently the first Monday when they open the doors. The hours would be the same at first. And then over the summer, or as quickly as we can, we need to work with the college. We would look at putting a good amount of capital into the store to make it more of an open concept, because if you've been in the store, there's three very separate and distinct feelings. So we have to do some checking with construction, things like that. But there will be, over the summer, or depending on how much we decide to do, over holiday break, a significantly improved customer experience come fall. So that way when they come in, they're proud of it. I mean, one of our surveys we do is when students are deciding if they should go to Merced, let's say UC Merced, Stanislaus, the three places they go are the library, food service, and bookstores. And it could be better. So I hope that answered that.
I do have a question for President Ramirez.
Yes, thank you.
So I'm looking forward to this new relationship, and I'm very excited about the new affordability to our students here at Merced College. But I think this question is more, woo-woo. This question might be more for VP Allison. I'm sure there's a market for this out there. And did our district at all consider any other vendors before narrowing it down to Follett?
Yes, we did. There's really primarily two players in the market, Barnes & Noble and Follett. And so yes, we did have Barnes & Noble come in as well. We had them do a presentation to our cabinet, and we considered them in addition with Follett.
Okay. Thank you.
And Trustee Ochoa, just to piggyback on that, we took that a step further. We personally called other colleges that are working with the different agencies that are the two different companies in the field. Those that we spoke to spoke very highly of Follett coming on board. In fact, there's 115 colleges in the community college system. I think almost 50 of them right now have Follett in their bookstore. Some do, are still doing their own thing, but that's going to be a day of the past. And Barnes & Noble isn't a handful, but the presidents that I spoke to were very happy with Follett and the opportunities. In fact, when I was on an accreditation visit 2 weeks ago at Hartnell College, they're a Follett bookstore. I didn't know that walking into it, but I knew what we were talking about with the agreement with Follett. And it didn't take me long to ask, are you guys a Follett bookstore? And they are. It was very clean, very inviting. And so, but we did do our due diligence on getting both players in the field to come do a presentation.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I appreciate it.
And I have a question, I don't know if it's for VP Allison or President Vitelli, but has Follett came and spoke to college community yet, to staff, to professors, and any concerns there?
Yeah, they have. We invited them to come out and do a community forum or a campus forum. I invited all staff to come out. Mary was there, and I thought it was a very positive dialogue. In fact, it was more of a conversation, more like a town hall. She didn't do a formal presentation. She let them spend the majority of their time asking questions about their own concerns, and faculty have concerns. They have, they want to make sure they're going to get their textbooks, and they want to make sure that services are going to stay the same, and that it's going to be the same, if not better, for students. And those are the types of questions that are being asked. We invited Los Banos. We had them video conference in. I think Trustee Gutierrez participated in that. But I couldn't think of a question that wasn't asked. And Mary she just lays it out and says, whatever you want to ask. And they did. And I thought it was very good dialogue. And I did not get any, and I think I would have, myself, VP Allison, other VPs probably would have gotten a few emails if that wouldn't have gone well. And it seemed like everybody was pleased with the outcome. So.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad that was something that was already thought of. Okay. Yes, Trustee Gutierrez?
And that was, just to follow that, this faculty felt that there was a positive move as well, that they're in favor of this.
Yeah, I think it was more from an operational standpoint. How do we order books? How do we adopt books? And so Mary was able to answer every single one of those questions. And I think that's why we didn't receive any additional feedback or negative feedback in that regard.
I do want to tell the board, as you take action on this, no one expects this to be perfect, at least from the operational side. I don't think Follett has ever seen a perfect transition. I don't think we have ever brought on a partner and not had some hiccups. But I feel very comfortable with what Follett is bringing to the table as far as resources. I have all faith and confidence in Robin and her staff to come alongside of Follett, VP Allison, and the resources that Follett brings to the table over the next several years. I think that as we work out the little kinks here and there and the pieces as they learn our culture and we learn their culture, it will get better and better. So, I don't want to suggest to my board that this will be a perfect solution in the beginning. It's going to take a bit. These are two different partners that have not worked together. But I have all faith that it will be as seamless as it possibly can be, and this will be a really good solution for our students.
Yes, Trustee Upton?
I would like to put forward that also. I've had history working with Follett when I worked in the elementary school system as curriculum specialist, and they're always there when you need them, more so than most of the other publishers. And so I would back 100%.
I appreciate that insight. I'm, as one trustee, I'm glad to have a solution that, the bookstore, because the presentation about, how it was deficient for so many years financially was alarming. There's only a few things the Board of Trustees are responsible for. Big picture, finance is a big one. So, that was really alarming to me. So I appreciate that, that the president recognized the alarm and took action. This feels like a pretty fast turnaround. So I appreciate that. Trustee Gutierrez?
One last question. Is this partnership agreement, is there a time commitment to this? And what is that?
The current agreement is a 5-year agreement that we're proposing. Yes, with three additional renewable years beyond the initial 5-year period.
Trustee Etcher?
VP Allison, are the positions going to change at all in the bookstore? Unfortunately, a couple of board meetings ago, we did vote on a layoff. Is that going to be different now?
The positions right now are positioned to be the same. As Mary mentioned, we'll still have Robin as our bookstore manager. The remaining bookstore buyer, the textbook buyer, will still remain in their same positions.
So they're going to be there, are they going to be employees of Follett or employees of the college?
Robin will be an employee of Follett. The other 2 employees will remain district employees.
Madam President?
Yes?
So my question would be more so that if Follett takes over basically the contract of the bookstore, would they still be following the MOU that the bookstore had with ASMC and to where if they provided a profit or when they overturn the profit, if they would give some of the portions to ASMC in exchange for us not to do what we used to do a book sale drive, I guess, or exchange?
No, that's not currently part of the agreement. However, there is some funding that Follett did include as part of the agreement for bookstore scholarships, textbook scholarships, I'm sorry, but not in the same fashion as the agreement was in the past with directly with ASMC.
Okay, thank you.
I would say that the goal of this partnership is to provide, as Mary said, a more affordable textbook for all of our students. And I think that ASMC, if they were to sit down with VP Allison and even Follett and with Robin, I think that you all would see the cost benefit benefiting you all as a student government. And so I do encourage you to sit down and maybe rethink the MOU, but also to rethink why you had it in the first place and listen to the model that's in place and see what we can do to make sure that's a supportive marriage, for lack of a better word. But I think you'll be very pleased with the affordability of textbooks and the availability of textbooks moving forward.
All right, thank you.
I'm glad you asked that. Anything else?
Madam Chair, I move to accept the agreement between Follett and Merced College.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Trustee Pedroso and a second by Trustee Upton. Any further comments from members of the board? Okay, seeing none, any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Trustee Lemus, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
Mary.
very much.
Thank you, VP Allison. And thank you for making the trip out here. Okay, agenda item D, CCCT board elections for 2019. I researched this item a little bit, and sometimes what colleges will do is they'll appoint a subcommittee to research and give a recommendation as to who we would recommend for election, but it's your meeting, so what is the pleasure of this board?
Board President Ramirez, if I may.
Sure.
I did see in the documents that we have a deadline of April the 25th to submit a postmarked final ballot on these candidates. So I think what you're suggesting is a really good idea. Because we have a lot of candidates to consider here, and it would merit a little bit of due diligence before we take a vote. So, do I need to make a motion to table this for the April meeting, or is that subgroup just gonna?
I make a move to make a subcommittee. You're gonna second that?
Yeah, I think we need to do some presentation more than.
Microphone, please.
I made a motion to I make a motion to refer this to a subcommittee that could report at the next board meeting on April 9th.
Okay, and so we have a motion by trustee Upton, motion by trustee Chappelle, a second by trustee Upton, that this be recommended to a subcommittee with a report at the next regularly scheduled board meeting.
Madam Chair, I got a couple
Certainly.
of comments that
Yes.
I want to make.
Please.
And I'm in full support of having a subcommittee. However, there's 3 new board members on here, and I really don't know that much about the CCCT. And so I'm glad that we're going to do a subcommittee, but we need some clarification on, and I kind of know what it is because I asked the former president of the college what it was, but I didn't know what this is all about. I was getting emails from different people, and so I'm glad we're doing us having a subcommittee so we can discuss this.
Yeah, so
more
maybe
in
the
depth.
subcommittee, go ahead. Yes, please.
I suggest the gentleman at the end of the table be on that subcommittee, and then he'll know all about it.
Well, I have no problem with that, but I don't mind getting on something, but I need to know a little bit about it. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think that that's good, and the way that I've seen it is usually what will happen is that there'll be a report back on what CCCT does and why it is that the subcommittee is recommending these people. They fit either because it's a college that might have similar interests or similar
Right.
student body like Merced College, or it's someone that we've met at a trip that inspired us to trust them, or whatever those reasons are. But Trustee Ochoa?
I believe that this recent CCCT conference was attended by Trustee Gutierrez and Trustee Chappelle. And being that Trustee Chappelle is also a new member of our board, and Trustee Gutierrez is a seasoned member of our board, I think that makes for a great subcommittee.
I'd be willing to be on the subcommittee.
Me too.
All right, and President Vitale, how many people?
Yeah, 3 would be your limit, and so I will send out some information to you all as well on what CCCT is, but in a nutshell, it is a state board that helps determine professional development for trustees. They provide guidance on policy and procedures at the local level for you all, and so they adopt policies that then they send to us as templates for future policies, and they really are the sounding board at the state level for you all as representation.
Okay, and knowing that there's a spot for 3, Trustee Pedrosa, do you want to serve?
I have no problem. I'll do it.
Okay,
No problem.
all right. Anybody else would like to serve? We can try to have an arm wrestling match, or...
I'll volunteer.
Yeah, okay, all right, good. So we have those 3 people and no other competition. So we have a motion to appoint a 3-person subcommittee of Trustee
Did we vote on the other
Pedrosa,
people?
Trustee Gutierrez, and Trustee Chappelle.
So moved.
Yeah, so this, I already made the motion, and I was just making clear for the record who the 3 subcommittee members are. Okay, all right, so at this time we'll call for the vote. Trustee Lima? Oh, wait. Are there any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Trustee Lemus, how do you vote? Aye. Thank you for that.
There it is.
Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you.